After more than 6 years in detention, former Senator Laila De Lima gets temporary liberty after posting bail for her last drug case before a Muntinlupa court. With the court's decision, an administration official says De Lima is likely to be acquitted. With the overwhelming support of her allies, De Lima wants perpetrators behind her detention held accountable.
There's got to be a day of reckoning. I've been victimized, and there's so many others are victimized, and I'm talking about the brutal war on drugs, the murderous war on drugs. Part of my vindication is not just about, those so-called witnesses against me, recanting what they said, that they lied before, but more importantly is that sabihin nila how it all happened.
Good evening, I'm Pia Hontiveros. Welcome to your weekly political appointment fix, Politics as Usual. Our guest for tonight, former Senator Laila De Lima, who's joining us live via Zoom from her home in Iriga City. Ma'am, good evening. And I suppose you've seen your mother already.
Oh, yes. Good evening, Pia. Yes, I've seen my mother at last after 4 years. And syempre umiyak siya. And she even said that wag mo na akong iwanan, ha? Oh. Although as you know, she doesn't know that I came from jail. What she knows is that I came from study leave from the United States. So she was happy to see me, and puro siya, I love you, I love you, I love you. Bakit ngayon ka lang dumating? Matagal na kitang hinihintay, kaya wag mo na akong iwanan. Yun po yung kanyang mga sinabi sa akin. She cried and cried.
And what did you say to her, ma'am?
Of course, well, I told her I missed her a lot, and I told her, yes, mami, hindi na kita iiwanan, but that is a white lie, because I can stay only for a few days here. Although I try to maximize my stay here with her.
Meron bang nag-video ng inyong reunion, ma'am? Or, did your staff decide or your relatives decide na let's not, intrude with the camera?
Yeah, for health reasons, nobody was allowed except my sister and her caregiver, because she is definitely bedridden already. And her health is very vulnerable, and so no media was allowed when I entered her room, when we talked to each other, when we hugged each other. So hindi po sila pinayagan ng sister ko na may pumasok doon to cover our actual reunion.
But did your sister take video?
Many media here.
Yes.
In our place.
But your sister was able to take video?
Yes, I think the caregiver was able to take video.
That would be nice to see. Baka pwedeng makita before the show ends. Anyway, ma'am, let's talk first about what life was like in detention. You're right. I listened very closely to your press conference Monday evening. You're right. Like I said, no one could have imagined what it was like for you in those 6 years, 8 months, and 21 days. So I want to ask you now to tell us hour by hour, minute by minute, if possible, what happened on a daily basis in what you described as your routinary daily life. So you would wake up at this time, and then you would do what? And what kind of a routine was it like?
Yes, my day starts at 4:30. Whether or not I turn on the alarm, I really wake up at 4:30 in the morning. And since it's still dark outside my detention room, I stay in my room. I start with my prayers. I start with reading the Bible, and also writing either letters other communications, and reflecting. And when the sun is up, I would go out of my room and start doing my physical chores. And I start feeding the cats, feeding the chickens, feeding the birds. That's in the morning while I wait for my breakfast. When the breakfast comes, after the breakfast, I read the newspapers because I'm allowed newspapers. And then I'll resume my reading of books and also writing. And and I will be sending out all my communications through my staff outside, because a staff would wait outside the gate of Krame to await my instructions, written instructions, and other communications. And I take my lunch late. And then after lunch, I take short siesta. After siesta, I resume my reading and writing also. And then late afternoon, I'll again feed my cats before I take dinner. After the Angelus at 6 o'clock, I would write on my journal. I have daily journals. From day one, I've been writing daily. I've been writing my journals, my reflections for the day, the happenings, the important happenings of the day, if any. So I've kept them I wrote them in notebooks. I have now a collection of thick notebooks of my daily journals. I sleep between 10 to 11 o'clock. I don't have any problem sleeping. I read until I fall asleep.
How many notebooks,
So that's
ma'am?
practically my. I haven't counted.
You haven't counted, you lost count.
Some of them, I have them brought home already and safe kept
Okay.
by my house help there. But some of them are still where I already brought them out also. So from day one, there's an entry on my journal.
Ma'am, I remember during the press conference you said that you appreciated the mundane things like rain, for example, or even your stray cats. What other, so two questions for that. What other mundane things did you appreciate? And, I wanted to ask about your cats, the stray cats. Did you have names for them?
Yes, most of them, I have names for them. And because there are more than 20 cats
When?
in my detention quarters. Well, they are actually stray cats, but some have been regular mainstay already in my quarters. My favorite 5 cats, I had to bring them out. I brought them, the 5 cats. If only I could bring all of them, because I've been attached to practically all of the cats.
The 5 cats,
They
okay.
gave me company, especially
Yes.
during the pandemic, at the height of the pandemic, when there was total lockdown there. They were practically my sole companions. So I talked to them once in a while, and I gave them names. Some of them have died for either illness or old age. Now I names like Avatar,
Avatar.
Duchess, Doll, Lily, Otto, Ghost, that he died already, Blackie, he died already, and then Bran, the character of it in the Game of Thrones,
Game of Thrones.
and some other names. But
Avatar.
those I've
Yeah.
gotten to really get close.
So
I gave names.
So Avatar, Patches, Doll, Otto, and then, Ghost and Gran, who you said, Ghost and Blackie, who died already. So
Tiger,
Viber,
Tiger,
ma'am?
Pluto,
Viber?
Tiger,
Tiger and Pluto.
Tiger.
And then you said you brought
Pluto.
home, you brought home 5 of them?
Yes,
So
my favorites.
So I suppose those are Avatar, Patches, Doll, and Otto.
Otto and Lily.
And Lily.
Unfortunately, unfortunately, Tiger and Pluto, we could not catch them. So I could
Okay.
not bring them home. And I actually feel bad about it that I wasn't also able to bring them home.
Aha. Pero baka pwede pong balikan. Baka pwede pang
Pwede,
ibilin.
I can talk to
Oo.
the authorities there
Yeah.
na mapabalikan doon.
Oh, I'm sure babalik sila kasi hahanapin po kayo. But anyway, ma'am, we're going to take a very quick break. Please stay right there. Senator Lala de Lima joining us live from her home in Iriga City. She was able to go home today and reunite with her mother, her 91-year-old bedridden mother. We'll be right back after this break. Welcome back to Politics as usual. Our guest joining us live via Zoom from Iriga City, her home there, former Senator Lala de Lima, who walked to freedom Monday evening, just about 48 hours ago. Senator de Lima, I wanted to ask you this. We have very little time, but I need to ask you this. No, and it's going to be a litany of questions about your room, your detention room. So I hope you can parang fire off also the answers na lang when I finish. Of course, we cannot. We don't have pictures of what your detention room was like, but maybe you can describe it to us. So I wanted to ask you, for example, how many windows were there? Did they have curtains or blinds? What were the color of the wall? Did you have personal furniture? What was your bed? Single, double, or queen? How thick was your mattress? Who did your laundry? Who cooked for you? Detention food po ba yun? Or may mga nagpapadala ng pagkain sa inyo? What was your favorite? And did any of the guards become your friends? I'm sorry, litanya talaga ng tanong. Sana litanya ng sagot.
Okay. Yeah, it's just a small room and it's a single bed. And there's a small window in my room. It really lacks ventilation. But in an annex, there is a window there with blinds. Now I have a table, I have bookshelves because I have lots of books there. I don't have ref, and I don't have television. I don't have aircon, but there are electric fans. While I don't have ref, meron naman akong cooler box, but they deliver on a daily basis ice. Now I don't accept the food from the custodial center. It's the food coming from our home and from friends, from relatives. It's for security reason that my friends advised me not to accept food there. Now everybody at the custodial center treated me fairly well. They treated me with professionalism, with courtesy, with respect. They kept a distance, but always with respect and courtesy. Nobody has ever maltreated me there or in any way disrespected me. So I was kind to them. I was nice to them. Everybody also was nice to me, although again, with a distance. If on certain occasions, I would be able also to see and interact very briefly with other detainees, especially during our regular Wednesday Holy Mass, officiated by priests from Camp Crame. Now, my place is far from the comforts, of course, of my own home. But I would always tell myself that I'm more fortunate, I'm more privileged than the ordinary detainees in the ordinary jails, because I could imagine the congestion here. So even if I have to, even if there are causes also to demand for more amenities, for example, I cannot, because I kept on thinking about the very condition of the other detainees. in
All right.
ordinary jails.
Okay.
So
Yes.
I in fact take this opportunity also to thank my custodians in the PNP Custodial Center, all the custodial personnel there, all the commanding officers, former and the present, about Police Lieutenant Colonel Gabion, because they really treated me well with professionalism. And that made me, it made a lot of difference because I don't have to feel any fear. I don't have to fear anybody there. Although at first, my rule of thumb is don't beg, don't fear. That's my rule of thumb there. Don't trust. But eventually, because when I saw that everybody was okay, then I can't say that I trusted any of them, but I acknowledge and I appreciated the kind of treatment that they accorded to me.
Okay. Ma'am, yesterday morning, that was your first freedom ride in a sense, no? When you went all the way to Manawag, Pangasinan, and then your first flight after so many years from Manila to the Bicol International Airport, your first ride home to Iriga. It must have been while you would look out the window of the car or the airplane, you must have felt that everything was breathtaking, no? Syempre, seeing everything through new eyes, no? And I wanted to ask you now, parang turning point na po kasi ito, no? Like Senator Pia Hontiveros said, and she met you on a Monday evening at your press conference, and she said, this is the beginning of the end to this shameful episode in our democracy. So two things here. First, 2 days after you walked free, former President Duterte was subpoenaed by a Quezon City prosecutor to answer the charges of Congresswoman Franz Castro. And also, you have been quoted as saying that you are going to cooperate with the International Criminal Court when it comes to this case or these charges against former President Duterte. What are your thoughts about that, ma'am? Very briefly, and then we're going to have to go to one last commercial break.
We can now see the workings of the justice system. We can now see some hopes. We can now see that because the independence of the judiciary is now being respected, then we see the process being applied now, and the issuance of the subpoena against the former president, that's part of the process, and it has to go through the process, and what the grant of my bail also, which seems unimaginable during the last administration, it's there already. So, and then the ICC, and so it's really time for this administration also to rethink their position insofar as the issue of whether this government will cooperate with the ICC investigators. It's time to do that. It's time also to reconsider the membership, to rejoin ICC and the Rome Statute, and then cooperate with the ICC investigators in order to ensure justice for the thousands of victims of the deadly drug war.
All right. Senator De Lima, we're going to take one last very quick break. This is Politics as Usual. Be right back. Welcome back. This is Politics as Usual. Still with us via Zoom from Iriga is former Senator Laila De Lima. Ma'am, my final questions to you. And again, hindi naman litany. Dalawang question lang naman po, no? When will your first day be in the law as a lawyer, back on the job? When will that first day be? And pinag-usapan na, no? Nasabi na po ninyo that you would like to teach. So the question is, what law school will you teach in?
Hello? Hello?
Ma'am, we can hear you. You're on air.
Okay, as to the law practice, I need to first, eh, as to the resumption of law practice, I have to first attend MLCE. I have to
Okay.
update
What is MLCE
my,
again?
my capacity. Mandatory continuing legal education.
Okay.
Hindi na po updated yung MLCE ko.
Okay.
When I was teaching, I was exempted. And also when I was a senator, I was exempted from attending the MLCE. But now that I'm no longer senator, and it's been years since I enroll and attend MLCE. Now, as to where I could teach, of course, I'm eyeing at my alma mater, which is San Beda Law School, and the current dean now of the DLSU Law School also made already indicated their willingness to accept me to teach there. I'm an alumni also of
DLSU.
DLSU. My pre-law is in the DLSU, where I took up my law in San
San
Beda.
Beda. Okay. Animo
So those
Lasal
are
pala.
my.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I'm looking at those.
All right. And ma'am, are you going to run again?
Oh, wala pa yan. Hindi ko
Wala
pa
pa.
iniisip yan.
Malayo pa.
That's not yet. Malayo pa yan, malayo pa.
2025
Ang dami
is
ko pa talagang dapat gawin, Pia.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
2025, yeah, kahit 2025, it's still far.
All right.
And I have priorities. I have priorities. A lot of things to do, really. A lot of things.
Rebuilding your life, just like you said, getting things back on track.
Yes.
Former Senator
Yes.
Laila De Lima, ma'am, thank you very much for giving us 30 minutes of your time tonight. Maraming salamat po.
It's an honor. And nice to see you again, Pia.
Good to see you, ma'am.
Yeah.
We've been told before, don't talk politics at the dinner table or the family reunion or in Viber groups and risk warfare, digital or otherwise. But we can talk about it here at this table, on this show, your weekly political appointment fix, politics as usual. I'm Pia Hontiveros. See you back here next Wednesday, 8 p.m. Sports Desk with Andre Felix is next.